Well, we got our second episode of Loki, and it appears maybe a blunder from Disney Plus may have revealed the true identity of the primary villain. So far in the show, it's been pretty clear we're hunting down a variant of Loki, but what was posted in the credits last night seems to take us in a completely different direction that we actually called on this channel. Now, before we dive into this story, make sure you hit that like and subscribe and ring the bell for all the updates. Also, we have this huge giveaway. We're going to give away a PlayStation 5 at 25,000 subscribers. All you have to do to get in on the giveaway is be a subscriber and leave a comment. And if you can, support the channel. Check out the Buy Me a Coffee link down below. It is a great way to support the channel without any reoccurring obligation. Now, before we dive into this story, there is some Loki spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the second episode of Loki, I would go watch it and then come back. I don't want to give anything away. In this week's episode of Loki, they actually introduced us to the female version of the God of Mischief, and we've known for a long time that Sophia Demartino was cast in the role. Now, there were quite a few hints throughout this episode that this version of Loki, aka Lady Loki, might very well be a lot more than meets the eye. Remember, Loki did give her some compliments on her mastery of enchantments. Unfortunately for Disney Plus, her true identity has actually been spoiled, and this happened in the credits. In those credits, her name was referred to as Sylvie, and in Marvel Comics, there just happens to be a character named Sylvie closely associated with Asgardians, Sylvie Lushton. Now, Sylvie Lushton isn't called Lady Loki in the comics. She's better known as the Enchantress, and this version of the character has very close ties to the God of Mischief. In the comics, Sylvie was a human created by Loki in that variant timeline who was actually fooled into believing she was an Asgardian. Now, the character herself made her first appearance back in 2009 in Dark Reign Young Avengers #1. And quite honestly, her storyline has a large aspect of tragedy to it. And if you remember correctly, that very first scene this character appeared was in Oklahoma, and the character in the comics is actually from Broxton, Oklahoma. Now, the character, interestingly enough, evolves quite a bit over her comics run, and for a short period of time was actually associated with the Young Avengers. I actually think this character is the Enchantress and not Lady Loki, and Sylvia Lushton will be a character that moves on in the MCU, maybe making appearances in other projects that could involve all these new Young Avengers characters. We'll have to wait and see. Now, in any case, this hasn't been officially confirmed, but since it appears in the credits, it's pretty darn likely. Obviously, if we get some more details, we're going to bring them to you right away. But it appears the MCU has its Enchantress. What do you guys think? How do you feel about Sophia Demartino's character not being Lady Loki, but in fact being the Enchantress? And how do you think this plays out for future storylines in the MCU? Sound off in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you press like, click subscribe, and if you don't ring that bell, you're not getting any updates. Peace.